I have no fucking topic to talk about. I'm gonna just let whatever comes out flow out. Not through me, but through the message that comes through. So I'm a open space right now. And I'll let a message come through. And I'll tell you what that message is right now. That message is that we have many ways to accomplish our goals that we have. And a lot of people think to accomplish the goal that they have to sacrifice certain values of theirs to get it. But in reality, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. So let me give you an example. To get your goal physique, you can take steroids to get there. Now, you can do it naturally, which might take a little longer. So if you go the route of taking steroids, you're essentially taking a substance to fast forward it, but then you compromise maybe other values of yours, which is your emotional control with loved ones. So maybe you start taking steroids and all of a sudden you get angry because you chose a route to get to that goal and compromise certain values, right? It's like the analogy of people who got money, but then they have no health and they think that's the way to get it. But in reality, you have to figure out what your values are in the beginning. You got to know what's exactly important to you, and then use a map to get to the goal that still fulfills those, right? And it's not that you're balanced across all of them at every single point in your life. It doesn't really work like that, okay? There will be times that you immerse more into certain phases and more into training and less on the career, and vice versa, more on career, less on training. But the whole point is that you have to have a very deep awareness of what your value system is, and then make sure that you're still paying attention, at least maintaining certain areas as you focus on others, okay? Classic example is that people think, if they want to make a lot of money, a lot of the clients that I work with, they are very much business minded, responsibility minded, family business, but then their health goes to the wayside. And it's not that they don't value their health, they just lose perspective of it. And they think it's necessary to push their health aside to get the goal and make money and so on and so forth and provide. But in reality, if you really want to sustain providing and sustain making money, then you got to find a way to keep your health somewhat at bay to a degree, right? Maybe you won't be training like a bodybuilder, treating like a bodybuilder, putting that time and attention, but maybe you can find a system, you can systemize your life to where you can keep it at a 30% attention span, dedicating 30% of your day, 20% of your day to keeping your health at bay so that it can allow you to thrive in career, okay? So even me, I coach fitness, I coach health. That's what I do. But I actually don't spend that much time training. I train 4 days a week, and I do that in the morning. I get it done, I get it out of the way. And in reality, I spend the most of my day actually working. So I still spend a large proportion of my time working with my clients, working on the business, making sure everything's afloat, and so on and so forth. So even if you actually look at my schedule, I spend a lot less time working out than I do on career, business, and I obviously dedicate some time for relationships, but I got a great balance that I know how much time and attention to put towards my health to satisfy that area, to allow me to thrive in others. Now, if I go too much of neglecting, let's say I'm doing 30% fitness right now, and I put that to 10%, and then I go 90% to career, that will actually create too much of an unbalance. There's too much of a neglect on their health where it will start pulling away from the quality of my work. So I have to find a perfect balance, and you got to figure this out as you go, right? And I always recommend start small, start introducing, first of all, figure out what your values are and then start introducing a little bit of all of them into your life so you can fill those buckets, at least emotionally, right? Let's say you've got a relationship bucket, your health bucket, and your career bucket. As an example, you've got these 3. These are typically the main ones, right? You dedicate some time, maybe at the end of the day, to relationships. You dedicate some time, maybe in the morning, to your health, and then chunk your day to your career. So you're making sure you're still paying attention to all 3, and then the ratios just vary based on the phase of life that you're in, but you never neglect one completely, because if you neglect one completely, you'll start taking away too much from the others, okay? Because the emotional bucket hasn't been fulfilled in those areas, and it can start pulling and nagging, okay? So you have to know that fine balance of satisfying it so it doesn't nag and pull away and distract you from your purpose, from your mission. As an example, let's say you're taking care of your health and your career, but not your relationships. A lot of people experience feelings of depression, feelings of loneliness that distract them and pull them away from their career, right? Let's say they're doing a lot of communication in their career, but emotionally they're unfulfilled. So when they're doing the communications in business, in career, they're doing it from a different perspective that's not abundant because they're lonely, they're sad. So now they're bringing that energy into those calls, right? Whereas if they created a system to allow 10%, 20% attention to relationships at the end of the day, even if it took away an hour from career, that emotional satisfaction will allow them to work more productively in their health and fitness, in their career aspect. Make sense? So essentially, you have to be very aware what buckets you need to fill, what's the criteria, what's your value system to allow you to feel fucking great every day. So that way you can thrive with everything that you're doing, yeah? And not actually neglect too much in certain areas. And once you know what those are, systemize it. Plan the day, plan every day, and create systems to tick those boxes. And you'll notice this changes over time, but at least start working on creating that. So for me, 4 days a week training, that'll happen first thing in the morning. I'll immediately wake up, I'll eat, then it'll sit as I read something, whatever, okay? Shower, take pre-workout, drive to the gym. By the time I've done that, I've digested, I go train. As soon as my training's done, it's done. Now I'm straight onto, then I'll go eat my meal to, not feel too hungry where I'm distracted. Then I go straight into work. I'll do that essentially for the whole fucking day. And then towards the end of the day, 7, 8 p.m., relationship time, focusing on relations, communications. Sometimes I'll merge business and relations together, working with friends. You got to find systems that can fulfill it, yeah? And if I go too long without the relationships, I start feeling like, fuck, what am I doing, I have a very big value system around being close with people. That's a big thing for me. I love relationships. I love feeling connected. Yeah, it's all about being around the right team, right environment for me. And I know that. And when I don't have that, it starts affecting my mental, and my mental attitude towards everything else gets affected and tainted. So be very, very aware, and don't be so black and white to where you think you have to neglect everything to really do well in an area. It doesn't necessarily have to work like that. You don't have to be the overweight guy who's rich. You can be the fucking fit jack guy who's rich. You just got to find systems and know what you're willing and able to do at this point in time from a time and attention point of view. And the great thing about fitness is that it's not one of those things to where you have to be 100% to get results. You can put in 10% and get 10% results. You can put in and then build to 20%, then build to 25, build to 27.5, build to 29, build to 30, then all of a sudden build to 60 when you can get the time to do that. That's the good thing about it. And then the more time that you're spending to be on that 20%, for example, you're dedicating time to these habits and they're cementing more. So by the time you're ready to ramp it up to 60%, you've already established a 20% as a baseline, and it's easy to make that because you've bridged the gap a little more, right? Whereas if you had the 0 to 100 mentality and you're like, I'm just not going to work on this at all until I have 100% of the time, you haven't even built habits at the 10 or the 20 or the 30% mark. What makes you think you're going to go immediately 0 to 100 and sustain it? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Think about this shit. Most people don't think about this shit, right? They become very black and white, all in or nothing. And I get it because I'm very much similar. I don't like to waste my time on things that I don't feel like I can fully commit myself to. But then again, that's only if it really doesn't align with my values and it doesn't have a place in my life. But health and fitness is one of those things. It has a fucking place. It has a fucking place. It's you, it's your body, and your mental, it's all connected. And that has a fucking direct response to everything else that you do. So don't think it's fucking separate. You see? Don't make that mistake. Where you're 40, you're 50, you feel like shit, you look like shit, you got the money and you can't even fucking experience it. Start building the habits now. 10%, 5%, I don't care. Create the fucking balance so you can at least enjoy the fucking journey. Isn't that where we spend most of our time anyways, in the journey, not the destination? Isn't that where we spend most of our fucking time? It takes a while to get to that realization. And I can only say that because I hang around people who've lived it, who've done it. And they wish they knew this earlier. I'm just lucky enough to be around those people at a young age and experience that on a personal level. And now I'm spreading that message, sending it to you. Because I'll tell you right now, I put time and attention towards all of those things, all of my values. I fucking love my life. I've got goals. I'm happily unsatisfied, as Wes Watson says. What a G he is. I've always got things I want to do, super competitive, driven, but I'm also fucking enjoying the ride, man. I love this shit. I love working out to the point where I'm like crippled. I fucking love it. The aggression, the testosterone. Then I love spending time with people I care about and embracing another side of me. I love all of it. I love all of it. But the major key is that I'm just living completely in congruency with my values. That's really what is allowing that fulfillment to come. Because it's not about the happiness and the happiness topic and this and that. It's the fulfillment. As long as I'm doing what I know I should be doing, what aligns with my values and fulfills me and others around me, people I care about, fuck man, that's a pretty good life. And part of the values is growth. So it doesn't mean I'm not growing if I'm feeling good along the way. That's a big trap as well. Sometimes you get too caught up in the narrative that shit has to be hard. It can be fucking easy too. If you look at it that way and you shift your perspective and you just allow things to flow, right? Entering a flow state throughout the day, hit your workout in the morning, take the pre-workout, boom, jump on calls, save lives, sign people up into coaching, start coaching them, spreading positive messages, getting reciprocal feedback. Hey, thank you for this, thank you for that. Beautiful, taking that energy in, starting to put it into other people who need help. Pretty fucking cool, right? Doesn't really feel like work because it aligns with the values. So I'm looking for fulfillment, not necessarily happiness, it's fulfillment. Going to bed at the end of the day knowing that I did the shit that felt right, that I knew I should be doing, that's in alignment with my goals, in alignment with my values. So be very, very careful falling into the trap of completely pushing aside shit, thinking that the only way to reach a goal is to do that and sacrifice your morals and your values. Be very, very careful of that. That can destroy a man deep down inside. You feel fucking empty. And you can do it. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. Multiple ways. There's multiple ways to get to the number 4. 2 plus 2, 3 plus 1, 6 minus 4 is not 4. 6 minus 2. So, when you find that point, there's never going to be a perfect balance. There won't never ever be a perfect balance. But I believe that's the fun in it as well, right? You're constantly on that evolution, personal development, working and striving and progressing and occasionally tripping over, taking it as a learning lesson, standing back up, conquering, overcoming, onto the next thing, and then boom, this happened, oh beautiful, oh boom, this happened, taken away, oh okay, interesting, it's not permanent, this too shall pass, blah, 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 rinse, repeat. Grow as a person. It's just personal development. It's the fucking journey. It's beautiful. Nothing's gonna ever be perfect. The most important thing is that you are solid, you are fucking grounded in your values, and you're doing the shit that you're in control of and that you know is right. Yeah, doing the things in alignment at every single point in time with the person that you want to be. If you can embody that at every moment, let that be your filter. At this point in time, what would the person that I want to be do in this situation? Not this, they'll do this. Okay, I'm gonna do that even if I don't feel like it right now, because that's what that person will do, so therefore I'm gonna act that way. And you'll keep rinse repeating this. And at any single point that you go about your life and maybe you slip, you don't get too caught up, you feel that sense of regret. If you feel that sense of regret when you do something, that's your reminder, hey, don't do that again, boom, eliminate. And keep moving forward, forward thinking, constantly allowing regret to be a guideline of what not to do, and then always living life through the filter of what would this version of myself be doing at this point in time, and be present at every single moment with those filters, and watch how the quality of your life will absolutely change. And watch how you feel about yourself, how you're received in the world, and the life that you create. So don't neglect that. Don't lower its importance for short-term gain, because in the long run, it'll only detriment you. Be in it for the long game and stay true to yourself.